All right. Can go ahead and go to the main slide. It's 5:01, a great time to get started. So good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us this evening for the first regional webinar of the FuturePedsRes 2023 webinar series. Welcome if you're just joining the FuturePedsRes events for the first time. We're so excited to have you. If you're joining again, welcome back. We're very excited about the regional webinars in particular. And since this is our first one, please bear with us if there's any technical issues here. We're going to try to run these breakout rooms as smoothly as possible, but there may be some hiccups along the way. So we appreciate your patience in advance. My name is Amy Lorber. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm currently a fourth-year medical student at Western Michigan University School of Medicine in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I am serving as one of the co-directors of FuturePedsRes this year.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Chiamaka Nwachukwu. My pronouns are she, her. I am an international medical graduate from University of Lagos in Nigeria and currently a junior clinical fellow at King's College Hospital in London. I also serve as one of the co-directors for FuturePedsRes. As always, we'd like to highlight our founders here at FPR, second-year pediatric interns, Michaela and Nick, who have been the support and guidance we have needed for the entire series. Would also like to acknowledge the amazing Dr. John Frona, Vice Chair of Education and APPD Recruitment Action Team member, and Colin Hughes, Associate Executive Director, respectively, both with the APPD, who have helped make these webinars a reality. They have been working so hard and have helped us and guided us in making this a reality. I'd also like to shout out to our amazing webinars team who have been working very hard to make these events possible. Today, we have with us the leadership of APPD and COMCEP, who have been our advisors and partners throughout this process. From APPD, we have Dr. Megan Aylor, President-elect of APPD, and from COMCEP, we have Dr. Lavjay Bhutani and Dr. Abena Knight. I would like to invite the representatives from APPD and COMCEP to give us a warm welcome before we go into the rest of the program this evening. So I'd like to start with Dr. Aylor.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. It's so exciting to see all of these wonderful rising pediatricians on the call this evening. I just want to take a moment to let you all know how thrilled the APPD leadership and organization as a whole is to welcome you all to the best field that is out there. I also probably shouldn't officially endorse the Western region as the best region there is, but unofficially, I want to let you know that that is the case. So you're saving the best for first. So thank you so much, Chiamaka and Amy, for doing that. We're so glad to partner with FuturePedsRes. This has been a wonderful opportunity for us to get an early head start in welcoming you to pediatrics and to introduce you to the wonderful leaders that are on this call. Attending the APPD meeting every year is one of my favorite activities because it allows me to be around really the best human beings on the planet who are doing such incredible work. And so I'm so excited to welcome you into the fold. These are all outstanding programs that you are going to hear about tonight. And we're just all really thrilled to be able to share what we love about our programs and for you to find a place that aligns with your values and your goals for residency. And just thrilled to have everybody here. Thanks so much for allowing us to partner with you.
Thank you, Dr. Aylor. And then now I'd like to invite Dr. Lavjay Bhutani and Dr. Abena Knight, both from COMCEP, to give us a COMCEP welcome.
Thanks, Chiamaka. Thank you also to Amy and all the leadership of FuturePedsRes. It's wonderful to see so many people over here. And also want to give a shout out to the APPD who have again taken such a lead in organizing these webinars and workshops. I'm here along with Dr. Knight, representing COMSEP, which is Council on Medical Student Education in Pediatrics. This is a North American group of educators consisting of clerkship directors, associate clerkship directors, and many others who are passionate about undergraduate medical education. So welcome on our behalf, and if there's anything that we can do to guide you, provide any more information about programs, we're always available to help you. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Knight.
Thanks, Dr. Bhutani. It's lovely to meet all of you all, and we are very excited to be here. So please let us know if you need anything from us. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much. We're just so grateful to have everyone here tonight, and that you're taking the time to be with us is really amazing. It is now my pleasure to introduce you all to our Assistant Director of Webinars and the leadership for the Western Region webinar. Very exciting, Tanya Ragosa. Tanya is an international medical graduate from the Universidad Autónoma de Guadalajara. Probably a little bit of accent there, but born and raised in California. Welcome, Tanya.
Hello, thank you so much, Amy, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you all for tuning in tonight. We are so excited for all the participating region programs in Western Regional Webinar, and grateful to all the program directors and assistants, as well as the program coordinators and residents who have taken the time to be here with us tonight. So we'll go ahead and we'll start hearing about the Western region and then transition to our breakout rooms. In each room, applicants will be able to learn about some of the programs and ask questions near the end. All the breakout rooms are recorded, so if you're interested in learning about the other programs and you're not in that breakout room, you'll be able to check it out on our YouTube page later on for recordings. After that, after we're done with the breakout rooms, we'll meet back here in the main room for our resident happy hour. During the resident happy hour, there will be residents and applicants in the breakout rooms to connect, discuss, and get more firsthand information about the various programs. Please bring a beverage, some snacks for the conversations, and this part of the webinar will not be recorded. So now we'd like to introduce our webinar regional team. And if you're here, you're welcome to open your mic and give a few words.
I just want to second what Dr. Ayler said and welcome you all on behalf of the Western region, which we do feel is the best region. So thank you all for joining us today. I'm joined by the wonderful APP leadership for the Western region. My name is Dr. Laura Kester Prakash. I am the chair of the Western region. I'm also joined today by Catherine Lee, who is our vice chair of coordinators and elections, Erica Okamara, who is our vice chair of meetings, and Jerry Larrabee, who is our vice chair of research and scholarship. And so excited to share with you a little bit more about our Western region. So our Western region is very large and consists of Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, Mexico, Alaska, and Hawaii. So anything that you could possibly be looking for, we have here on the Western region. So we'll share a little more of those details with you now. As far as qualities of the Western region has enormous variety in landscape, weather, mountains, ocean, farmland, desert, islands, mainland, anything that you're possibly looking for, you will definitely find in the Western region. We have diverse populations of children and family with many languages, cultures, histories, resources, and lots of opportunities to explore a wide range of interests and activities, both within medicine and outside of medicine.
Hi, everyone. I'm Erica Okamura. I serve as the Vice Chair of Meetings for the Western Region. And and the Department Fellowship Coordinator at Stanford. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our training experiences. So we offer broad training in general pediatrics, critical care, the pediatric subspecialties, in different, a lot of different settings. So inpatient, ambulatory, and community settings, including rural and urban experiences. We scaffold resident skills in scholarships, so including evidence-based medicine, QI and research, focus on community health, and focus on advocacy. A lot of opportunities to really engage in advocacy around different issues that affect health of various pediatric populations.
Mute. Okay, there we go. I'm Jerry Larrabee. I'm the Vice Chair of Research and Education for the Western region, and I work at University of New Mexico, where I've been for the last 3 years, transplanted from Vermont, and I love it. So I can vouch for that. It's a great place. But I wanted to just mention a couple brief things about the patient characteristics and also the resident characteristics. The patient characteristics is really what drew me to the West. I think within any of the cities that host a program, you're going to see a diverse patient population. And depending on where the cities are located within the Western region, you'll also have direct exposure to border health, refugee care, and all sorts of different languages and cultures. Here in New Mexico, I can speak very specifically about the fact that we have a number of Mexican Americans, Native American populations, as well as Southeast Asian and Asian immigrants. So it's a wide swath of patients. The one thing that I mentioned too is that you don't have to go looking for working with the underserved here, that the underserved are right in your backyard. And the work is gratifying and it's rich. And so I think that that is another great thing. All of the institutions have very wide catchment areas. When you look at that map, there's a lot of nothing in between these big cities. But when you look closer, there are a lot of little towns, and those little towns have medical needs and populations. I think all of the programs have outreach rotations where you're able to rotate in a rural situation or location, but also very remote. And I think the distinction there is rural is, very low population, but being remote, you're actually distant from a lot of central medical care. And so you learn how to work in an underserved area. In terms of the resident characteristics, I think they match our populations. I think a lot of the programs like to recruit from within their own institutions, but also love the influx of residents from all over. So you'll see a lot of diversity, and you'll see a lot of variety in terms of career goals. Many are looking for working in a small town or a rural setting, but others are anxious to go on to fellowship training and subspecialize in a very competitive fellowship program. So there are lots of opportunities there. There are a lot of fellowship training programs so that if you want to stay and put down roots in any of these programs, you'll have the option to do so by just continuing your education here. The last thing I'll mention is just the focus on well-being and health of trainees. I think this is a national initiative, and it's taken very seriously in the Western region as well. I'm in charge of research and scholarship, and we do regional grants, and a lot of the regional grants have an aim and goal toward looking at and studying well-being and health of our trainees. So it's very much a part of what we do here in the West.
Okay, so now we're going to introduce our programs tonight. We have 20 programs tonight, so we'll go ahead and go into the breakout rooms. Throughout the webinar, you can ask questions using the chat box on Zoom, and then you can also amplify insights of what you've learned from the webinar on Twitter using the hashtag FPRWebinar and PedsMatch 2023. So just give us a second, and we'll be placing everybody in their breakout rooms. Thank you.
Focus on DEI and anti-racism, prioritizing diversity of all kinds, and has a focus on training physicians who are underrepresented in medicine. Our patients really tell us how important it is to them to have physicians who share their backgrounds, and we really see that in our trainees as well. We have a long-standing tradition of cultural humility practice here in this training program. It was actually a concept that was developed in our hospital by Jan Marie Garcia and Melanie Turvalon back around the time of the Rodney King events, and really is much ingrained in what we do and how we think and teach here. So residents, I think, feel really, they see it in all parts of the hospital and all that they do. Other highlights about our program, you can see a lot from the slide, but our early exposure to critical care in NICU and PICU in your first year. We have an inpatient rehab center. Our continuity clinic for residents is in our primary care center, which is actually an FQHC. So residents are all together for continuity clinic. And we have a very robust advocacy and community-based outpatient peds rotation, as well as developmental behavioral pediatrics, adolescent health with school-based health centers, an asylum clinic, Center for Excellence in Immigrant Health and Wellbeing. We don't have a lot of fellows here in Oakland. So our residents really get to know our faculty, and most of their rotations are here. But we do have an affiliation with UCSF. So we have a lot of exposure to resources that a university has. And our residents, we have a very collaborative relationship with San Francisco programs, and our residents do quite a bit of kind of crossing the bay if they have interest in doing that. Oakland is an amazing place to live. The weather is really great here. We're right on the coast, so it's a pretty temperate climate. There's amazing food and events. We're near Berkeley, we're near San Francisco. You can go travel to the mountains and ski, to Napa, to wine tasting, to get into rural areas. So really a great place to be. We do really try to preserve the golden weekend system here. So residents get to use their time to go have lots of fun. I think those are all of my main highlights, and we'll save time for others and welcome questions that any of you have.
Thank you so much, Dr. So we can continue with the Full Circle Health Pediatric Residency of Idaho. Okay, sorry. Yes. So with us will be Dr. Perry Brown and Dr. Rhonda Prudhomme.
Dr. Brown, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, you're muted. Thank you very much for catching me. You'd think I would know this by now. My name is Dr. Perry Brown. I serve as the program director for the Full Circle Health Pediatrics Residency of Idaho. I want to thank everyone for hosting this and being a part of this. We are very much the new kids on the block in terms of pediatric residencies. This will actually be the first class that we're recruiting for. So Idaho is the least represented in terms of pediatricians in the entire US. We rank 51st in the US in the number of pediatricians per 100,000 children, and there's a huge need for training pediatricians in Idaho for Idaho. We're a relatively unique residency in that in founding this, we founded it not out of a university or a medical school or a children's hospital. It's actually primarily based out of our Federal Qualified Health Center, teaching health center. And this is really intended to, help support broad spectrum training and very much a rural primary care focus. Not that there's any problem with someone coming in and being fully supported to go on and pursue a fellowship later. We're partnered with St. Luke's Children's Hospital, which is the most isolated children's hospital in the contiguous US. We have a catchment area of about 1.2 million people, but it's about a 5-hour drive to the next closest children's hospital, which is in Salt Lake City. We're definitely starting off as a small program, 4 residents per class, but this is going to result in very personal attention and very personal teaching. You'll really get to know your attendings will really get to know you, and we're very, very, very excited to welcome our first class. There's been an amazing amount of hospital, community, and area support for this. So very excited to move this forward. And as I said, strong community and state support. Our curriculum is going to be broad. There will be 6 months of pediatric hospitalist time, 2 months minimum of NICU, 2 months minimum of PICU, 4 months of pediatric ED. There's going to be 2.5 blocks spent over the 3 years in a rural setting. We already have our rural rotation set up. It'll be 2 weeks during the first year of residency, 4 weeks during second year, 4 weeks of third year, really trying to develop interest and a model and eventually populate rural pediatrics in Idaho. We also have a strong commitment to advocacy training. There will be a 4-week block during the first year of residency and a 4-week block during the second year of residency that will be dedicated to advocacy and community pediatrics, including working directly with elected officials in the state of Idaho to craft a legislative bill the first year. The class can choose what it is that they want to go after, and watching that get ushered forward so that they can be part of the process and be there to testify during their second year. And then we're planning to use a modified X+Y scheduling schedule, whereby you will never be beholden to more than one place in a day. You're either dedicated to clinic for the day, and that's scheduled in contiguous days, or you're dedicated to your inpatient service or elective or other rotation. Idaho is an amazing place to live. Boise is a great city. One of the things that we really believe in Idaho is work-life balance, work hard, play hard. Within 5 minutes from the hospital, you can be mountain biking or hiking on trails. You can be fly fishing in town, catching 20-inch rainbow trout. There's whitewater rafting 45 minutes away. There's downhill skiing 45 minutes away. And the best thing about Boise is it still has its small town feel, but it has very much of a bigger city amenities. So tons of stuff to do in the area. While our residency is new, our sponsoring institution and federally qualified health center is not. It's been in existence for 48 years, supports 6 other residency programs. So it's just that this is the first pediatrics residency. And finally, I would say that yes, both Full Circle Health, our sponsoring institution, and St. Luke's Children's Hospital have very, very active JEDI committees, very committed to equity, diversity, and inclusion. Full Circle Health hosts, it's not actually one of Idaho's largest, it's the largest gender affirming care clinic in the state. We have 42 different languages spoken in our clinics because of the diversity that exists in Boise. We were one of the original 11 gateway cities for refugee resettlement. And it's really, an amazing place to work. It's an amazing place to live. I have amazing colleagues, and we would welcome any and all of you into our first year class, helping us build this new pediatric residency. So I'll pause there. Thank you very much. And thank you for the opportunity to describe our program.
Thank you so much, Dr. Brown, for presenting your program. And now we will continue with Los Angeles with Dr. Salazar and Dr. Casani.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Adler Salazar. I'm the program director for LAC+USC Medical Center. So as the name implies, it's in Los Angeles. It's very close to downtown Los Angeles. This hospital colloquially is called the County Hospital. It's been around for a very long time. It was actually built in the 1890s, and it started off as a free hospital for the community, for those who are the most underserved. And that mission continues today. We are a safety net hospital. We do take care of anyone regardless of insurance or lack of it. Our patient population is an awesome place to work. Like, there's so much need for doctors who are motivated to deliver care for the underserved population. So we are a 33 resident categorical pediatric program, 11 per year. We are partnered with a combined internal medicine pediatric program. The hospital is a level 1 trauma center. We have a 40-bed NICU that is partnered with our OB/GYN department. So we are part of a maternal fetal program. So high-risk deliveries do occur in our hospital. Our pediatric ICU is part of the national virtual PICU system. So we share data with similar pediatric ICUs of our size. And because of our safety net setting, we've become the medical hub for children in foster care. So we have a special program called the Violence Intervention Program, the Children's Medical Village. And basically, if there are any children in any community clinics that have been identified to be a victim of abuse, they actually come to our hospital or our clinics for care if they become a ward of the court. So they are the most in need children. So it's great to be able to work, learn medicine, but also really make a difference in these young people's lives. We are also the only academic burn center in Los Angeles. So unfortunately, burn injury is quite common in children, and that is part of a unique experience here. We are partnered with a number of programs, the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, Rancho Los Amigos National Rehab Center, and Edward Roy Ball Clinic. So there are experiences that can be done outside of our facility also, but the bulk of the rotations are done in our hospital, the county hospital. We have an X+Y schedule for the pediatric wards. We have a pediatric integrative medicine, and our efforts for diversity and equity has really ramped up in the last few years. And I'm so grateful that our institution is actually very supportive of that. So there are affinity groups for resident physicians that they can match with. We have special clinics. We have an LGBT clinic for adolescents. It's called the Alexis Project. Yeah, so I was a resident in this program. I went away for a few years to do my pediatric ICU training, but I'm so happy to be back as faculty and as a program director for the past few years. You'll meet two of our chief residents who kindly joined us, Mohammed and Chris. So welcome everybody. I hope you have a good night.
Thank you so much, Dr. Salazar. It's a good highlight to your program. And now we will continue with UC Irvine with Dr. Khan.
All right, thanks everyone. My name is Daniel King. I'm the program director for UC Irvine CHOC, and I'm actually the interim program director for this past year. And we just identified our new program director. She'll be starting this fall. It's going to be Dr. Kira Molas Torres Blanca from CHLA. She was actually the program director for the hospice fellowship program there. So we're really excited to have her join us and lead our program at this point. And then for our program itself, it's a very unique experience. We are 2 standalone children's hospitals, CHOC in Orange County, as well as Miller Children's in Los Angeles County. And so you get a really wide spectrum of disease processes and patient populations as you go across LA and Orange County. And you'll see as you guys go more south into OC, you guys watch those shows like, you know, the OC and things like that, you see all those people who are, oftentimes have a lot of questions, have a lot of research that they've done, have neighbors who are plastic surgeons, and have, there's a different way of chatting with those folk as well. So it's a really cool experience where you get to see kind of everything. And then the other neat part about going down into South County is that we do have a satellite wards there where we have an eating disorder program. And so that's pretty unique to our program, where you get to work with a multidisciplinary team of psychologists, nutrition, adolescent specialists, et cetera, that all come together to work with these individuals. So really neat opportunity for those who are interested. Let's see. And then for our program, it's a pretty large program. It's kind of medium size, where we have about 25 categorical residents every year, plus 2 Peds Neuro residents. And then we do have a combined Peds Medical Genetics resident as well, which is a 4-year program for them. We also have different tracks that we've developed over the years. Our program is historically known to be a bit inpatient heavy, and recognizing that we have tried to shift the pendulum over and looked at other programs and seen where how many blocks that other programs do in terms of inpatient versus outpatient. We're at a nice medium, we think, at this point, and we've really made our primary care track robust with different experiences, including additional newborn experiences, specialized rotations such as musculoskeletal and sports medicine, more kind of opportunities for autonomy during your 3rd year, where we have separate autonomy clinics that are within primary care as well as adolescent. So a lot of cool experiences for those who are really interested in primary care and getting ready to make that transition. Because that's the other thing that we are really interested in, to make sure that you guys are ready and prepared to transition into that next step of your careers. And in terms of fellowships, for those who are interested, we have a whole bunch of different fellowships within our program itself, and we've been continuously growing. We just started a hospitalist medicine fellowship this past year, and then an emergency medicine fellowship that's in the works as well. And then other ones like PICU, NICU, Palm, Endo, surgery, et cetera. So a lot of fellows that you guys can work with and grow with as well. And then finally, I think the other thing that I just wanted to mention was that we have a psychiatrist that works with all of you guys, and it's something that we recognize as residency stuff, any residency period, and pediatrics not being excluded from that. It's tough hours, it's very busy, and then kids getting sick, that's tragic and tough as well. And we do have a psychiatrist who is a physician burnout specialist, and she meets with you guys once a year. So we have everyone scheduled, regardless whether you want to see her or not. You guys are meeting her, and then you can also meet with her separately as needed. And she also does debriefing sessions for all of our residents after ICU rotations. So she's a great resource for our residents, and somebody that has been really integral in helping our residents also just transition into residency itself. So I think those are the major things, and thanks for your time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Khan. So now we will continue with University of Colorado with Dr. Adam Rosenberg.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sophia Maharan, and I'll actually be presenting today with one of my co-APDs, Dr. Carol Okada. Thank you all for being here, and thank you to the Future Peds group for putting this on. I am a primary care pediatrician, graduate of the program, and as I said, now one of the associate program directors. And then Carol.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carol Okada, and I am a pediatrician, pediatric hospitalist, and pediatric critical care physician based at Denver Health, and I graduated from the program 25 years ago.
Yeah. Did you want to start with the highlights?
Sure, I will. I the reason that I love talking about our program is much like others on the call today, we feel like we have a unique exposure for our residents, and that is comparing and having experiences at two different institutions. So the main institution being Children's Hospital Colorado, which is ranked in the top 10. It's a freestanding hospital. It has every subspecialist under the sun. We have a catchment area of about 8 states. And so our residents get to see everything, experience lots of different disease processes, and really get a good exposure. Juxtaposed to that, we have Denver Health, which is an underserved urban safety net hospital that serves 70,000 children in the city and county of Denver. And we serve mainly a Medicaid population. And our residents spend approximately 1 year out of the 3 years of residency at Denver Health. And we believe that having those experiences at both institutions exposes you to different systems, different patient populations, different ways of doing things, which I think really helps one evolve over the course of time into a well-rounded pediatrician. And so we feel like the 2 main learning institutions for our program are really an asset.
Definitely. Along those learning guidelines, one of the things that stands out about our program is our CFEB, Career Focused Educational Block opportunity. And it really allows you to individualize your learning. It can be up to 6 months in your 3rd year. They don't have to be consecutive, where you can schedule elective, research, or any other experiences that allow you to be best prepared for what's next. So if you're going to rural medicine, primary care, applying to fellowship, whatever you might be thinking about doing, want to work on your teaching skills, want to learn how to read EKGs, you can incorporate that into your learning experience. And I think that that's really unique. You work with an individual coach who helps you figure out what it is that you need to optimize your learning. And so we've been doing CFEB for a while, one of the first institutions to do it, and continue to grow that. The other area I wanted to highlight out of our infographic was the area around diversity. For those who don't know the Denver metro area well, it actually has awesome diversity, race, ethnicity, religion, large refugee populations, language. We're using translators and interpreters regularly in the clinics. And so it is diverse not only in our community and the patients we serve, but then also our faculty, residency, and fellowships are constantly working to ensure that we match that diversity so our patients can see themselves and the people that are caring for them, not just the staff, but also at the provider level. And then along the lines of diversity, health equity, inclusion, and curricula, we just regularly work to modify the education so we can really be intentional about making sure we address that intersection between advocacy, equity, justice, diversity, inclusion, and the health of our patients, and also the experiences that our residents are having, what they come in with, and what happens during their work time. And so we're fairly intentional and actively working on all areas around health equity, justice, and diversity.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Mijarena. That's good to hear. I would like to share the information for all the programs. So in this way, you can take like a screenshot or maybe a picture, and in this way, you can follow up these programs through their social media, and you can know what they are been doing, what is the life of our residency. First, we will have the Oakland Children's Hospital. This is the information. You can see the Instagram account. Second, we will have again the Full Circle Health Pediatric Residency of Idaho. You can see here the Instagram account, also the Facebook account. There we will have again a LAC+USC Pediatrics program. So we have here the web page as well as the Instagram account. Now the UCI with CHOC, they have their Instagram account. Also to remind you that we will have all this information in our webpage in FuturePeds Resident, as well as in our Instagram. If you need anything else, just let us know via mail and we will be happy to share all the information, okay? And lastly, with University of Colorado. Okay, so that was all with Breakout Room number 1. We will return to the main room. I hope that everything was okay today. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience at the beginning, and we hope that it doesn't happen again. Thank you so much for the directors, and we are so happy to work with you. Thank you so much for being with us.
So welcome to Breakout Room number 2. My name is LAC+USC. I'm the Assistant Director of Social Media here at FuturePedsRes. It's nice to meet everyone today, and I'm interested in learning about all the new programs, and I hope everyone else is too. Okay, let's get started.
Okay. So hi, everyone. I'm Sylvia Yeh. I'm the Program Director for Harbor-UCLA Medical Center. I'm joined here today with Grace Pio and Crystal Frazier, who are our Chief Residents for this year. We are a small to medium-sized program. We have 30 residents total, 10 residents each year, and we serve a underserved community. We are a county facility affiliated with UCLA. So we have a lot of academic activities going on, but we serve an underrepresented, underserved population. And as such, there's a huge part of people who come to Harbor are very mission driven and wanting to serve the underserved and the underrepresented. We are located in Southern California, and the beaches are about actually 5 miles away, not 5 minutes. It'll take 20 minutes to drive there, but they're 5 miles away. We are a tier 2, so that's one correction also on the slides, trauma center. And so with an adult ER, that's also a tier 1. And I think, lots of subspecialists. We also have fellowship programs. I think one of the things that our residents really appreciate about us is that much of what we do is advocacy driven, as well as acute care and outpatient. We are, because we're small, we get to know you. It's a small ratio. We have, 30 residents. We've got about 35 core faculty. So, it's a very small 1-to-1, 1-to-3 type of ratio. So you'll get to know your faculty really well. They get to know you really well, and are really there to mentor and to teach, a strong commitment to teaching. So that is us.
Sorry, I am Dr. Oriaka Castro-Soka. I'm currently the Residency Program Director at the Kerkorian School of Medicine at UNLV. And my coordinator isn't here today, but I have Lillian Olazabal-Far, and then I have my Chief Resident, Evans Clowther, who's here with me today. We have 30 residents, 10 per year. Some of the great program highlights that you get a lot of one-on-one clinical opportunities with faculty. We're very similar in size to Harbor-UCLA. We have a very diverse patient population. We have patients from all over the world. Obviously, we hail in Las Vegas, Nevada, so we get people from all over coming to visit and hang out. So they end up oftentimes in our hospitals, so you do get them from all over. And then we do have a lot of level 1 and level 2 trauma centers at both of our institutions that we work at. We are kind of spread across Las Vegas, which is not huge, but we do have 2 children's hospitals that we do work at. And you have both, you have ERs, PICUs, NICUs, and floors that you get to experience in different facets. And then we do have 1 burn unit that you get to experience at one of the university hospitals as well. We practice an academic half day, which is a little bit different. And we have a well-established mentor advisor program and a very state-of-the-art sim center that we have had the opportunity to utilize successfully over the last couple of years. So really excited to be here and looking forward to your questions. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So glad to see everybody. Again, my name is Megan Ayler. I'm the program director at Oregon Health and Science University, and here with my incredible program manager, Jody Leonard. I am really excited. I set my timer because it's hard for me to keep talking about my program limited to 5 minutes. So I will do my best, which is to say, we are located, we're a busy tertiary care center located in Portland, Oregon, up on the hill overlooking our city and beautiful mountains around us. We're a medium-sized residency program. We have 18 categorical pediatric residents per class, and then 1 child neurology or neurodevelopmental disabilities resident that is in our first 2 years of residency as well. The size is we feel big enough to really offer the gamut of clinical and educational opportunities, and then small enough that the faculty resident relationships are very strong. It's not that strength of relationship is helpful for us, not only just for the joy of work and coming to work each day with people that you really enjoy being around, but also really supports our aim at graduated autonomy over the course of residency. We really want our residents on day 1 to be saying what they want to do about their patient, what they think is going on with their patient, what they want to do for that about them, and for that to grow with complexity and acuity and volume over time. We have a culture in our program and institution that really values equity, diversity, inclusion, and well-being. We have a number of efforts to promote equity, diversity, and inclusion in our program, including a longitudinal curriculum focused on justice, equity, diversity, inclusion, health equity principles, and really striving to be a program that is anti-racist. We have our core curriculum really built on primary care, general pediatrics, as well as subspecialty care and Gen Peds inpatient, with a robust breadth and depth in those areas that residents are able to use their individualized curriculum time very much to the discretion of how they wish to use it. So we are very generous with individualizing our 6 individualized curriculum time blocks of time for residents to meet their own learning goals. The majority of our clinical time is spent at Dornbecker Children's Hospital, our main campus, and we do have partnerships with Randall Children's Hospital, a community hospital in Portland, as well as the Kaiser Permanente system, a number of federally qualified health centers, and some primary care clinics around the city. Our where residents go to fellowship is about, or where residents go after residency is about a 50-50 split of fellowship versus general pediatrics. We do offer a number of fellowships in our institution, but not all of them. So residents sort of have a balance of being able to work on fellow staffed teams and on teams that are primarily resident run. We have a partnership with a number of other pathway programs to promote diversity in the medical workforce, as well as in our program, and broad opportunities for scholarship. So I think I'm getting up on my 5 minutes of time, but we are just, I think, biggest picture is it really feels like a family, and just a place that I have such joy in coming to work and working alongside the folks that I get to be with every day.
Hi, everybody. It's my turn. Hooray. My name is Sabrina Fernandez. I'm one of the associate program directors for intern recruitment for UCSF. I am joined by wonderful colleagues. Duncan Henry is here, who's another one of the APDs. And two of our 4 chiefs, Libby and Kat, are here as well. Bless your hearts. Thank you for being here. Our wonderful program director is away, so I am in her stead, but I'm really happy to be here and kind of, frankly, a little jealous because there was nothing like this when I was applying, and I applied. I'm a West Coast girl, like for life, and so applied to many of these programs on the Western region and never had any opportunity to see the field and get a broad overview. So good job to the FuturePedsRes team for persevering. This is a crazy night. I was like, what is happening? But anyway, we're past that. So good job. And so I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I was a resident at UCSF and a chief resident, and then I stayed on as faculty, and I totally love it, which is why I have been here the whole time, and I'm the resident like cheerleader of our program. I'll be happy to give you a little bit of highlights. The first thing I wanted to say that sometimes causes confusion over the course of the recruitment season is that there are 2 UCSF sites and 2 separate residency programs. And so you may be able to watch the recording if you're also interested in the UCSF Children's Hospital Oakland program, which is now in Breakout Room number 1. And so we're the San Francisco-based program. We're a large program with 31 interns per year. One of the things that I think is awesome is that we have lots of complexity, and you can see by this slide that I had more text and I had a hard time boiling down all the things I love about our program into one slide, but we have several different separate NRMP matches. So we have a pediatric equity and leadership program called the PLUS program. We have a child neurology program, molecular medicine, genetics, and then the regular categorical program. So within those, there's also tracks and pathways to help foster whatever wonderful interests you have. So if it's primary care, if it's clinical and translational research, if it's medical education, if it's data informatics, if it's all kinds of stuff. We're a pretty big institution, and so it's wonderful that folks can often find their home in that very complicated map of our. Make a quick comment that we are certainly a supportive and wonderful environment to be in, which is why I've stuck around for so long. And you can feel free to ask our wonderful chiefs what their experience has been here as recent grads. But I've been so proud of our residents for being resilient and doing an amazing job through COVID and being inspiring every day. And so I'll just leave you with that I'm inspired every day working here. And our goal is truly to have you find the program that where you are able to thrive and be the pediatrician that you want to be. So hooray you, yay. I will stop now. I'm pretty sure I went over time. Yay, bye-bye.
Hey everyone, my name is Andrew Kim. I'm the Associate Program Director at Valley Children's Hospital. Unfortunately, Dr. Vijayan cannot make it today, so I'm just here to share about our program. First off, I love Valley Children's Hospital. You guys are probably like, where is Valley Children's Hospital? It's actually in Fresno, California, which is smack dab in the middle of California. So most people are like Bay Area, LA area, but actually Madera is a place where we serve a huge population of children. And this is what really drew me to Valley Children's in the first place as an attending. Is because I really wanted to serve this hugely underserved area. It's an area that's actually really short on healthcare professionals in general. And so all our residents are usually coming here because they're so passionate about helping this patient population. The unique things that really, some things that are unique about our program is we have so much opportunity for advocacy, and our faculty are really engaged in wanting to help you chase after your dreams. one of our residents actually wanted to notice a gap in our education program with LGBTQ education. And he created a whole curriculum for that and was able to push that agenda, and we were able to help him chase his passion. Another resident really wanted to, reach out and do vaccine clinics out in some of the underserved areas near us. And so they're able to do that, and we're able to support them through that. And so it's just really unique because whatever you want to do, our program really helps you do those things. We also partner with Stanford University, so some of our residents rotate there as well. For a couple of rotations for DBP and adolescent medicine. We have 2 tracks. We have a primary care and efficacy track, and then we also have an academic medicine and leadership track. And then some unique things about Fresno. Fresno is really close to Yosemite, which I actually didn't know until I went up here. And Yosemite is beautiful. It's actually close to Kings Canyon, Sequoia. So if you love the outdoors, it's an amazing place to be. And so I think that's kind of all I really wanted to share today. Thank you, guys.
Okay, I think that's actually everyone that we have. Is there anyone we missed? Okay, so attendees, if you have any questions, please feel free. You can shout them out, or if you want to just put them in the chat, if you're afraid, please feel free to do so. And the program leadership and directors will all answer your questions as you have them come up. I see a question in the chat about support such as mental health services and educational supports for residents. I'm happy to speak to that from the perspective of OHSU. Maybe I'll take the mental health support and then hand it over to some of my other colleagues. We are really fortunate at OHSU to have a robust resident and faculty wellness program, which is staffed by a number of psychologists and psychiatrists. It is a free service that is outside of our electronic health record. It's outside of billing. Essentially, you just email them, you get an appointment set up, and residents are able to access those services readily. It's been a wonderful way for us to provide preventive health and then ongoing mental health services for our trainees.
Yes. So at Harbor-UCLA, we are also very fortunate. I think we take mental health and wellness and both building resilience and hopefully preventing burnout, as well as addressing concerns that come up. So we have multiple different services that are available both to residents and to faculty. But one of the things I think that's really unique to us is that we actually have on our GME staff a psychologist who is paid by our GME. And so everything that the residents need and access to is done through her, and it's completely confidential. And we can also refer residents to them if we need to, and she can reach out. So she will do that as an out needed basis. We'll also do short-term therapy, also liaison with them, as well as going to outside providers and help them develop and connect services. We also work with her to be able to have sessions with our residents proactively. Almost quarterly, she will meet with our residents kind of just as a group or individually if they need to, see how they're doing. And then in addition to that, we actually have a wellness committee that is both resident and faculty led in terms of just doing various different initiatives. So we have this past year, they did a gratitude board. They bring in snacks for the residents based on what their favorites are on certain certain days. So lots of different things I think that our program does, but and it's been really nice to have our GME psychologist there available, and pretty much is flexible to resident schedule. She knows that oftentimes you may not be available during the day, but you might need to meet at night, and she will accommodate that.
I can make a little comment for UCSF if that's all right, if they have time still. At UCSF, one of the things that I'm proud of myself is that I was on the search committee for our program director. And one of the things that I think that she did that really made a big difference for her as the director of our program was the year before she became the program director, I think 3 years ago, she headed the wellness task force, which was a large group of folks from the residency, from fellowship, and from faculty that really tried to make concrete recommendations to the chair of our department to really focus on wellness in our department. And that mindset, having come into her job as a program director, really colors the way that she leads. And so I think that at UCSF, there's been some pretty concrete ways that she's helped residents with just sort of wellness and building resiliency. We talk a lot here about meaning in medicine. We have various, community building activities like resident retreats and intern retreats, and separate timeouts for the interns. Certainly some training on debriefing after stressful events, more robust mental health services for residents that are outside of working day hours, because nobody can meet with their therapist from 8 to 5, let alone even more hours than that. And so there's been some really wonderful and concrete ways that we've helped residents. I think that for any provider and any learner in the medical field over the last 3 years, it's been just crazy bananas as COVID has hit us in all different ways. And so I think that, Jacqueline, that's a really good question that you have, and certainly one that I would ask everybody as you're going on your trail. And then Duncan, I don't know if you'd like to talk a little bit about educational supports for UCSF. I'm probably taking too much time, but you can if you want to briefly.
I feel like I should give time to everybody else, but I did want to shout out that our local community garden plots have their own Instagram page too. That's just a small aside. So I don't know what it is because I'm not on it, but I'm old.
Hey everybody, my name is Evans. I'm from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, the Kerkorian School of Medicine. Our program director wrote in the chat a little bit about all the resources we have. I just want to mirror some of the things that were written there in case you can't read the chat for whatever reason. We have our wellness coordinator who meets with all of our interns at least once during their first year, and you're more than welcome to set up more appointments on your own to meet with her regularly. We also have our own wellness committee that tries their best to set up as many wellness events as possible, or do events with the residents. We had like a virtual golfing event that happened not that long ago, and we had a tour of the arts district that I was a part of that I thought was really fun. We also have our employee assistance programs where if consultations are needed, there's available 24/7 consultants who can help you with your issues. There's also and in terms of like educational support, all the specific faculty are here to help you whenever you need it. We always, because we are so small, we have one-on-one time with our faculty members, especially with our specialists who are able to like have one-on-one time with you and talk to you, and they're all willing to teach. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have available to say for right now. Free to answer any other questions about it.
This is Andrew Kim from LA Children's Hospital. Thank you for asking this question. I think it's so helpful and such an important aspect that we all need to focus on. We do similar things in our program. We do have a wellness committee where we look into just having events for our residents. But more importantly, we also want to make sure that our residents feel open to talk about these things. And then sometimes we've also recognized that residents don't want to talk about these things, how to recognize this. And so we've kind of created some policies and some training for our faculty to recognize when residents are struggling. And so we've really been working on that aspect. And he as well. And then the Fresno Madera Medical Society also offers some services
Okay, looks like we just got another question. What opportunities are there for research, and realistically, how easy or difficult would it be to match into a fellowship from this program?
I can take that for UCSF. I'll try to make my comments brief, even though I'm bad at that. So at our program, we have a pretty robust research, lots of pediatricians who wear research hats as part of their careers. And at least the way that our program has its match, there are some folks that are molecular medicine oriented and really want to make bench research a part of their career as physicians. And so certainly that is a way to get your foot in the door for research. There's also in the categorical program, programs more related to clinical and translational science that sometimes people do, where they get extra training on that specific type of research. And as far as fellowship matches, we also have a pretty robust fellowship program with lots of different subspecialties, and they vary in size, but some folks are fast tracking already from the get-go and know that they are going to be going into their specific program of choice, and other folks match in later. But we have I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but a pretty high number of folks because they're known to the programs that stay on as fellows here. I'm also happy to talk about continuity clinic. I'm going to take that one and with zero guilt, because I'm a primary care pediatrician, and so I love continuity clinic and skipped out early, sadly, to attend this event, but I love continuity clinic. At our program, we have continuity clinic weaved through all 3 years every week. Obviously, residents don't attend when they're on nights or when they're on vacation or those sorts of things, but they do attend continuity clinic even when they're on inpatient rotations. And I think that's really wonderful. We also have a primary care track for folks that are primary care bound that you would come into after the match through the categorical program. And that gives you a little bit of extra continuity clinic and a little bit of extra programming related to primary care.
I popped it in the chat, but we have a similar longitudinal continuity curriculum where we have our residents attend weekly with the exception of nights or vacation. And I would say that our continuity preceptors are among the most beloved of our faculty. Every year at graduation, residents take a moment to express gratitude for the people in their lives who have gotten them to the place that they are. And invariably, the relationships that are built over the 3 years of residency with our continuity preceptor just come up time and time again as such a tremendous source of value. So we really try to prioritize not only continuity with patients during the continuity experience, but being able to develop those longitudinal relationships with a faculty member as well.
Does anyone have anything else to add? If not, we're going to shift over to resident happy hour. I want to thank everyone so much for talking about their programs and giving us all the information that we all need to apply to match, because I am applying as well this year. So thank you so much, everyone, for everything. And good luck to everyone in the match.
Best wishes, everyone. Congratulations on choosing the best specialty. I hope I get to meet some of you again in virtual interview days.
Welcome to room number 3. My name is Sabina Khalid. I'm originally from Massachusetts, and I'm currently a 4th-year osteopathic medical student at Lincoln Memorial University, DeBuss College of Osteopathic Medicine in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I'm going to be your moderator this evening. So I'd like to start off and invite our program representatives to give a short presentation of their program for 5 minutes for the first part of this evening. and we will take questions at the end of all the presentations. Attendees, you can leave whatever questions that you have in the chat box, and we also encourage programs to make use of the chat box to answer any questions they can in case we run out of time. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I can share my screen here. If somebody could let me know that they're able to see it.
We can see it.
All right. So our first program here will be Children's Hospital of LA.
Good evening. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle Thompson. I'm the program director at Children's Hospital Los Angeles. I also like to proudly say I'm a product of Children's Hospital Los Angeles in terms of my residency training, and pretty much my entire professional life as a pediatrician has been here in this institution. So I'm really excited to be able to share a little bit about our program and sort of what makes it special and why we love it so much. So CHLA is a top 10 freestanding children's hospital that uniquely also serves as a regional safety net hospital for our region, but also as far-reaching as international patients. And although we are, and it is a point of that we are high acuity and high volume, being the regional safety net also means that in addition to seeing children who have special healthcare needs, chronic illnesses, we are also the place where our kids that live in the neighborhood come for bread and butter types of problems like pneumonia, UTIs, etc. Another unique aspect of our program is that along with our mission, our continuity clinic is a federally qualified health center that exists within the academic center. And so our residents have an opportunity to practice and see their patient panels in their continuity clinic within an FQHC, basically within our four walls here at CHLA. And we find strength in our diversity of our residents and our faculty and our community. Our program is 111 residents strong, and we have 4 chief residents, 2 of whom are on the call with us today, Jess and Kate. I don't know if you guys can see them if they wave. We have 4 associate program directors, myself, and then 3 coordinators. I can't see my entire infographic. I don't know if we can, yeah. So we are located in the Hollywood neighborhood of Los Angeles, for those of you that are familiar. And LA is, I moved here from Virginia, so I'm from the East Coast. I definitely miss the leaf colors and the fall. However, I do not miss snow, but if I would like to see it, I can just drive up to Arrowhead or Big Bear, and then the same day I can turn around and drive back and go to the beach. So that's what we kind of love about our location in terms of just having access to so much to do, especially outdoors. We are committed to contributing and helping to grow a diverse workforce to reflect the community of patients that we serve here. So I'd like to chat with you a little bit about some of our diversity initiatives. So we host medical students who identify as underrepresented in medicine for a funded elective in the 4th year. And they come and can be here for a month and basically learn about our programs, have a chance to meet with our program leadership and meet with our residents. We have something called DIMP, which is our Diversity and Inclusion Mentorship Program that's based on a concept of intergenerational, I guess is the way I would say it, mentorship. So we have medical students and a couple of undergrad or pre-health students that are join a mentoring family that includes a faculty member and a trainee, usually a fellow or a resident. And we also have a curriculum for our DIMP students.
Sorry, just wanted to give a minute-and-a-half warning.
Okay, wonderful. And then during our recruitment season, we do have our Diversity Inclusion Committee host socials. We also have second look events that are specific for our UIM applicants. And then lastly, we have a community PEDS longitudinal curriculum. We're really focused on advocacy and community health. And so all of our residents experience that. And we have a few tracks that residents who have specific interests in education or academic medicine. Impact has 3 arms, so community health, quality improvement, global health, and then we also have a research track. But if you are interested in advocacy and health equity, we have lots of opportunities for people to work on projects in those areas and really get involved and learn a lot about that. So come check us out at CHLA and we'll be around to answer questions at the end. Thank you.
Thank you for all of that information. And the next hospital we have is Stanford.
Yes, hi, that's me. Hi, everyone. I'm Lahia Yamana. I'm not Carrie Rosbach, who's our program director. She's on vacation, so I am covering for her, but I am one of the associate program directors. And like Michelle, and so fun to see all of my friends here from different programs, but I'm originally from Texas and I came to Stanford 12 years ago for my residency and never left. And that tends to be a recurring theme. Once you're here, you don't want to leave, which is hopefully a good sign that you had an amazing training experience and want to continue to stay here. So that has been my story. And I think some of the reasons why I've stayed are the things that are highlighted here. I think overall, as I said I'm from Texas because I think at the beginning for the kind of region, someone had mentioned that California likes to take California, and I actually have to intentionally tell people we don't want everyone from California. We actually, like, a large majority of our residents are not from California. So just to dispel that myth, because I hear it a lot. So do not feel discouraged if you don't have a connection to California. I did not have one, but again, you might not want to leave. So why I think our program is really special is we have some unique characteristics that I will highlight, but ultimately I think our vision is really how to create outstanding clinicians and really leaders in children's health. And what that leadership means could be many, many different things. And so we really have the advantage of, we're not trying to create cookie cutters, but whatever you're passionate and interested in, can we give you mentorship, resources, and opportunities to really excel in those areas. I think, as mentioned, at the general Western region, we have a really diverse patient population. I think people would not expect that, given that we're in Palo Alto, but similarly, we're a freestanding children's hospital. That's a tertiary. You're going to see anything, everything high acuity, but we're also the safety net provider for our local community. So our hospital is about 50% private, 50% Medicaid, or in California is Medi-Cal. And so you will really get a robust clinical experience, both from Lucille Packard, which is the hospital behind me on my Zoom background, but also rotate at Santa Clara Valley Medical Center, which is a county hospital, and rotate at some different clinics. One of our main primary clinics is Gardner Packard Children's Health Center, which is a federally qualified health center, which I work at. And so from a breadth of kind of clinical exposures, patient diversity, and then we have quite a few different tracks. So obviously our largest is our categorical program, but we also have a physician scientist track, combined peds, anesthesia, combined peds medical genetics, child neurology, and TBD, we might be getting a triple board for psych, as we know there's a huge need for more psychiatrists and mental health providers. So we're in the process of potentially getting one of those, and we'll probably find out in the next month or so. So if people are interested in that, then keep us on your radar. And then in terms of diversity initiatives, we have a lot, both at our residency level, our department, and the School of Medicine wide. So we are a freestanding children's hospital, but we're next door to the adult hospital and the School of Medicine and on the campus of the university. So you get access to be involved in many, many different things. One of the unique programs we have that I co-direct is the Leadership Education and Advancing Diversity, which is a 10-month longitudinal program, and it's across our entire GME. And it's to get leadership training and mentorship in creating scholarly works around diversity, equity, and inclusion topics. It's been really successful. We've published the outcomes. And so if you go to our website, you can learn more about it, but it's been a great way to build community and professional development for our residents and fellows. We also have an Office of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Justice within our department that does department-wide education. 70% of our faculty and staff had to go to a 4-hour training about medical and structural racism and how to be up standards for microaggression. We also have a funded UIM clerkship, which we actually had 7 of our current incoming interns that participated last year. We have a really active advocacy council, and then we have an Office of Child Health Equity, and then our Office of Diversity and Medical Education, where I'm the Assistant Dean for Diversity for GME. So right after this, I get to go to our welcome event to welcome lots of our residents and fellows across all of our programs. There are about 1,500 residents and fellows here at Stanford. And then I don't know how much time I have, but otherwise,
I was just going to give you a 1-minute warning.
All right. Luckily, I talk fast, but the other is obviously the location, so I won't harp on that. The one thing I did not bring up that is unique to our program that I think is somewhere on this graphic, but probably lower, is we have scholarly concentration program. So all of our residents participate in a scholarly concentration. There are 6 of them. This again goes with the idea that we want people to be leaders in things they're passionate in. So it's not that everyone does clinical research. We have quality improvement, medical education, community engagement and advocacy, global health. And so that's a way for people to, again, get dedicated resources, mentorship to kind of delve a little bit more into that scholarly pursuit. And then we also have a coaching program. All residents get a coach that follows them all 3 years for formative development. And then our APD structure is unique in that there are 3 of us that follow a class for all 3 years. So you, again, have continuity with your coach, you have continuity with your associate program director, which is great for development. I will end with
Thank
that.
you so much. That was very helpful information. And so next up, we have the University of Arizona College of Medicine.
Hello.
5 minutes.
Hello there. I'm Rachel Crampton. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the program director at the University of Arizona. This whole system has come a long way since the very first one of these webinars. A little bit about us in Tucson. So we are the only level 1 trauma center in Tucson, which means we get all of the small human traumas come to us. We are also a level 4 NICU. And something that is unique, and I'll talk a little bit more about location in a minute, but one of the things that's unique about where we are is we are about an hour maybe from the Mexico border. So we get our catchment area is big and our catchment area spans 2 countries. So we get kids who come up from Mexico for routine healthcare. We also get kids who come up through Mexico and Central and South America, which makes our patient population really interesting. And we are the we have a lot of kids who are born in our NICU and a lot of kids who get transferred into our NICU from other places, both within and without the state of Arizona. One of the things we're very proud of is our board pass rate. We've got a greater than 95% board pass rate for the last 5+ years. And that's something that is really built into our program. And we have supports we have really good test takers. We have not so great test takers, but they all come through, get the support they need, and do well on the boards. And then we also provide a lot of support for residents to go other places, do other things, whether that's going to rural rotations out in rural Arizona, other parts of the country. We have someone who's heading to Alaska in a couple months to do a rural rotation. But then we also have people who travel internationally, which is something that's just finally waking up again. So that is exciting for you and for us. In terms of our curriculum, we have been doing a lot of work on our academic half day. We're actually one of the first programs in the country to have an academic half day, but we've been doing, it's a constant work in progress. And we're currently have an 18-month curricular cycle with the idea that everyone sees everything twice during that academic half day as well. And then one thing that we just started last year, our longitudinal advocacy projects. So rather than having just an advocacy month, having the opportunity to carry a project over the course of 3 years, either independently or with your classmates. In terms of the size of our program, we're a much smaller program than the 2 programs you've just heard about, but we consider ourselves to be a medium-sized program. We have 14 categorical pediatric residents, and then we have 3 combined pediatrics and emergency medicine residents who are with us for 5 years. So so a total of 17 new friends every year. We have 4 fellowships in our institution, endo, GI, POM, and developmental peds. And what that means for us is that you do get some access to fellows, but you also get a lot of shoulder-to-shoulder, face-to-face contact with your attendings. We are a very family-focused, family feeling program. And because we don't have a ton of fellows, you really do get to know your attendings in all of the disciplines. And we do have a lot of residents who go into fellowships. So the fact that we only have a couple fellowships on site does not limit people's opportunities to pursue fellowship. In a given year, we have about 50-50 who pursue fellowship training and get into really great programs all over the country, as well as 50% who go into primary care. Either many stay in Tucson. It is a really lovely place to be, even when it's 105, but it's a dry heat. And but then we also have people who go back to the rural communities or the regions of the country from which they came. I personally came from New England in 2009 and have been here ever since. And I do not miss snowsuits.
So sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to let you know that you have about 40 seconds.
40 seconds. DEI is something that we're doing both at the departmental level and at the university level. We have some required hours that folks need to get and ongoing work there. And then Tucson is a really wonderful place with lots of food, lots of culture, lots of wonderful people, and you should check us out.
Thank you for all of that information. And we will be moving on to our next program, which is University of California at Davis.
Hey everybody, I'm Lisa Rasmussen. I'm one of the associate program directors at UC Davis, and I have my chiefs here with me as well, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name's Helene. And I'm Daphne. We are the chief residents here at UC Davis. We'll talk a little bit about the program highlights and some details, and then we'll let Lisa take over for some of the curriculum stuff. So UC Davis Children's Hospital is a children's hospital within a larger academic center here in Sacramento. UC Davis Medical Center is a level 1 trauma center, like a regional trauma center in both adults and pediatrics. We serve a pretty broad community. We have like an urban community and then a really broad catchment area, rural area of Northern California out to the Nevada border and up to the Oregon border, and Northern and Central California. We have a lot of community partners in the area. We have 2 FQHC continuity clinics that our residents rotate throughout their 3 years. One is the Sacramento County Clinic that serves a pretty high volume of refugee population. And then we have the Sacramento Native American Health Center as our other FQHC. We also have a unique relationship with Kaiser, which is a HMO health system in California and a few other states in the western part of, and I think also Georgia. But we spent some time at Kaiser, all of us, some of us have continuity there, and all of us spend 1 to 2 months doing general pediatrics at Kaiser. And then we also have Shriners Hospital for Children, which is across the street from the UC Davis Medical Center. We spend a month there, each of us learning, it's a primarily like orthopedic center for pediatrics, so we do ortho over there. And that's general highlights for the program. A few more details.
Lisa's going to talk about the curriculum. Yeah, so we are starting with the X+Y curriculum. So that means you'll have 3 weeks of one rotation and then 1 week of primarily continuity clinics. And we also have a longitudinal integrative change lives curriculum, which stands for community health, advocacy, anti-racism, neighborhood partnerships, social justice, and health equity. And the foundation of that curriculum is the community health and advocacy rotation, which I lead with a colleague, and everyone gets 4 weeks of your community health and advocacy during your intern year. And then throughout your residency, you have the curriculum, the Change Lives curriculum throughout didactics and in different areas. We also have mentored scholarly projects, so you can do any scholarship. So whether you want to do a community health or an advocacy rotation or research project, QI project, or medical education. And we have amazing mentors in all of those areas for all of you if you have any interest in any of those. We also have a longitudinal wellness curriculum. So we really put a lot of emphasis on wellness. We have half-day wellness retreats throughout your residency. You'll have a variety of different didactics on wellness as well. So throughout your whole residency. And then we also do Thursday block didactics for the actual curriculum.
And just wanted to let you know that you all have 1 minute and 30 seconds left.
Thank you. So we currently have 39 residents broken down into 13 residents in each class. However, this year we will be recruiting 2 Peds neurology residents so that we will effectively have 15 PGY1s, 15 PGY2s, and 13 PGY3s when those neurology residents start their neurology training. About half of our class typically pursues fellowship. I'm applying for neonatology fellowship this year. And our residents do a lot of great things outside of the built-in rotations. We have a lot of advocates being in Sacramento, in the capital of California. We have a lot of great opportunity to testify in front of California legislature. We have regional leaders in AAP. We also have a really strong media advocacy. So I've partnered with a radio station to do an interview on various topics, and we're able to talk to families through like radio, TV. We have had some residents do interviews in Spanish, and we also have a Kids Considered blog that was started by one of our residents who is now staying on as faculty that still continues on. And then some of our residents are also amazing scholars who have published multiple great articles as first authors and presented at national conferences. We are located in Sacramento, so other than being the capital, we are also a farm to fork capital. So there's a lot of great farmers markets basically on every single day of the week, and a lot of great outdoor activities available as well.
Thank you, everyone from UC Davis. And we'll be moving on to our last program. That's the University of Washington, Seattle Children's.
Hi, I'm Troy Johnston. I'm the current program director here in Seattle. So I moved from the East Coast too, and have left Virginia 22 or so years ago. I've been in Seattle ever since, so it's been a really great place for me. But the reason I stayed is because of the program, and the reason I took this job about 6 months ago was to get to work more with the residents, which I think is really the strength of this program. But we are a large major referral center for the 5-state region of the WWAMI is the acronym for the area that we serve, in addition to Washington, Wyoming, Alaska, Montana, Idaho. And all of our residents rotate through those states. The categorical residents all spend 2 months in a primary care office in 6 different locations spread out through the states. The Alaska is the one they don't go to. Those residents, they go there on our special Alaska track. We do have multiple pathways within the residency, and we have separate categorical tracks, or I'm sorry, separate tracks that are not categorical that are not listed on here, but we have the Alaska primary care track. We also have a health equity track, research, Peds genetics, and Peds neurology residencies also. We have divided our residents up into pods that are named after, of course, whales. I am actually a member of the Narwhal pod, which is the best pod, of course, but they're associated with a chief for each pod and associate program director. In addition to doing our clinical coaching through this and mentorship, we also do social events, kind of making the large residency smaller. So we do have a large residency. There are 133 total residents representing 69 different medical schools in 31 states, including the District of Columbia. I could talk a lot about Seattle and the location, but there's, thank you for moving the slide for me. Lots of opportunities outside that are both city related and also outdoor related. Unfortunately, you guys can't come and visit this year because it's going to be virtual again. But if you haven't been to Seattle, it's worth coming to. The diversity initiatives that we are partaking in are a pretty large number. It is a large part of our mission, and over half of our residency class currently identifies as BIPOC. The residents started this hospital-wide health equity rounds that involves multiple different members of the hospital staff, but they lead it. I actually did one that I went to on Wednesday on incarcerated youth. And this is very popular and an excellent educational session that the residents really are leading for the entire hospital. We have a resident diversity committee that's very active and has been getting more active every year. We have a larger University of Washington network for underrepresented residents and fellows. One of our current graduates, who is now a fellow here, is leading NERF this year. And we have race-based affinity groups and an ally caucus that we've started up over the last year or two that we do multiple activities through. And we set up a learning climate reporting tool that allows people to anonymously report any concerns they have. Because even though we've done a lot of work, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
And I just wanted to give a 1-minute warning here.
Yeah, well, that's great, because I think I'm done.
All right, well, we'll just open it up to any last-minute questions anyone has. If any of the attendees have any questions, they can go ahead and type it in the chat or unmute and ask, and we should be moving back to the main room shortly.
Since we have a couple of minutes, I'm wondering if I can ask a question. I was just wondering if I could hear more about the any of the coaching or mentorship programs that any of the institutions have and what they specifically sort of entail and involve.
I can speak for UC Davis. At UC Davis, we have a coaching program where we have all of our interns get a coach that you can, and then if you ask for a coach later on, you can get one as well. And then we also have advising programs where every intern gets an advisor, as well as a big sibling, so one of the other residents. And then you get multiple mentors depending on what your interests are as well. So that's UC Davis.
Thank you.
And I will say that Dr. Rasmussen was my mentor as a resident, and we had our meetings on a paddleboard on the lake close by. So that was perfect. I loved it.
The best advising meetings.
In this beautiful breakout room, we will have Kaiser Permanente, North California, Oakland. We'll have Loma Linda University. We'll have UCLA, University of California, San Diego, University of Utah, and University of New Mexico. Okay, so we'll start with Kaiser Permanente.
Hi, thank you. My name is Betsy Hayes. I'm one of our associate program directors. I apologize, Dr. Javeri is out on a transport tonight. So our program is in Oakland, California, and it's part of Northern California Kaiser Permanente. We are a small program. We have 10 residents match in our program per year. Out of those 10, we have 2 of them that match into a 4-year tract. It's a 3-year residency program with a paid MPH at UC Berkeley, and you can apply to both parts of our program. You can make an application to our MPH program and our regular program. Kaiser is a large integrated system, as many people are aware of in Northern California and in California in general. As part of that, we have all of our specialists here in our Oakland facility. We have a large hem-onc population inpatient. All of our surgical subspecialties are here as well. So our residents get a huge breadth of all general peds, surgical subspecialty, specialty care as well. Because we're part of Kaiser, we have a large database that many of our residents use to do research, and we have a dedicated research coordinator only for our residents that lives in our graduate medical education office. We match really well into fellowships. All of our residents have matched into their fellowship of choice in the past 2 years to great programs, including Stanford, UCLA, OUSH, Columbia doing EM medicine. In terms of our curriculum, we have switched to the X+Y. We're part of the X+Y research project that's going on. And so we switched to X+Y, and our program is 3+1. We're in our 4th year. So you do 3 weeks of your rotation, 1 week of clinic. And during that clinic, what's unique to our program is we have a longitudinal 3-year advocacy program called REACH, and our residents are embedded in the community. And during their clinic week, they get 2 half days to go into the community to do advocacy work. And many of our residents are tied to a school, to a health clinic. So it's a really unique opportunity to be involved in our local clinic. A great example is one of our graduates who graduated this year went to a local high school. She was embedded in that clinic and was able to go back to her high school and work with teens there. And now she's working at Kaiser doing urgent care. So a really nice opportunity. We also are involved in Northern California and our California advocacy partners through the AAP as well. Again, all of our residents are involved in research, and we have dedicated time for that. They're all involved in quality improvement as well. There are opportunities to do away rotations. This year, our new curriculum changes. We went to an academic half day. We just launched it last week with our new academic year. So it's pretty exciting for our program and for our CHCO. We've been working on it for a good 1.5 years. So we're really excited to get rid of the sort of traditional noon conference and go to an academic protected half day every Thursday afternoon. Again, I mentioned that we have 10 residents per year, so we have 32 residents in our program, including our 2 4th-year MPH residents. I would say our graduates, about a third do end up going into primary care, a third go into hospitalist medicine, and a third go on to a fellowship of some choice. A lot of initiatives we have going on here. We have a huge, within Kaiser, Equity, Inclusion, Diversity Committee. Our residents are involved with that, and we have ongoing projects. We're developing a new United Health Equity curriculum. And definitely we have protected time for our residents when it comes to resident workshops on implicit bias, community building, both as a formal part of our academic half day or program and their advocacy work as well. In terms of the community, Oakland is a fabulous community to live and work. This is a great, the East Bay itself is what we say the East Bay if you're not from the area, has lots of different pockets of communities, even I would say pockets of weather, lots of great food, and many partnerships, you know, as you can see through your REACH project, and there's just so much stuff to do here. So that is Kaiser Oakland. I really appreciate everyone joining us tonight. And any questions, let us know. Our residents, our chiefs are here, and we're happy to answer questions.
Thank you so much. And this is the Instagram. There is a typo. I'm so sorry. It's Kaiser, Kaiser Oak Pete. We'll put it in the chat box for anybody that wants to add them. So sorry about that. Okay, up next we have Loma Linda.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear us okay?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Janice. I am the Pediatric Categorical Program Director and one of the pediatric hospitalists at Loma Linda.
And I'm Gabby. I pretend to do a lot of things and would like to claim unofficially the title of Associate Program Director for the Primary Care Track of Loma Linda Pediatric Residency Program.
amongst many other things. She's also a pediatric hospitalist and also the director of QI and advocacy and also like 8,000 other things and future PD if she will just acknowledge it one day. But anyway, so Loma Linda, we have a couple different tracks as well. We have about 100 residents. So that includes our categorical pediatric residents, our primary care track. We have med peds residents and then child neurology residents. Our catchment area, I think you guys had already heard that all of us kind of have large catchment areas that our patient population is about 1.2 million children. We are level 1 trauma, highest NICU, highest PICU. And we have a couple of fellowships at the hospital, but actually not as many as a lot of the other programs, which we actually really like because we think that gives our residents a lot more autonomy. Our continuity clinics are FQHCs, so about 98% of our patient population are under government insurance. And one of the things we do at our program that's a little bit different than some of the other programs is we do have our residents go out on transport calls for the pediatric ICU. So depending on how far and how sick the kids are and like weather conditions, that might be by helicopter or ambulance or fixed wing plane. We do have a pretty high retention rate for our residents who become attending. So about 50% of our residents end up going into primary care and 50% into fellowship. They match very well all across the country. But we do have a lot of residents choose to stay at Loma Linda as faculty, which we love. I am one of those people because I thought I was gonna peace out after 3 years and 10 years later, here I am. In terms of our curriculum, we are on a block schedule per month. We have 6 months that are basically elective selective or the residents get to kind of play around with their schedule depending on what they want to do for their ultimate career goal. We do have a separate optional advocacy curriculum track and then an option to do Prep Med lifestyle medicine either as part of the residency or as an additional 1-year fellowship. In terms of our didactics, our morning didactics are resident-led, our noon conferences are faculty-led, and we do that on an 18-month cycle. We do have a board review curriculum. And then for the next slide, I'm gonna let Gabby take over.
Yeah, let's see that next slide. All right, so we have 2 programs within the Loma Linda Pediatric Residency Program, but we operate very much as one with just unique facets of each program. So our categorical track is 23 per class, and the primary care track, which I work pretty close with, is 4 per class. So we're a more intimate setting within the categorical, but you still get amazing experience with an academic institution that again covers 1.2 million and has every subspecialty there outside of transplant. I think that's our GI transplant, but everything else is there, and that's what's so amazing. We also have 1 Peds Neuro per class. Our in-house fellowships are pediatric emergency medicine, NICU, PICU, Prep Med, forensics, and palliative. And then we do have global health elective, so people going to Malawi. In fact, one of my senior residents now runs that global health elective in Malawi. And so he lives there with his family and is living his best life. We also have the privilege of having a supportive administration who believes diversity and equity is important. And made a task force for us. So we have a DIME task force, which I'm the lead of. So diversify, include, mentor, educate. And yes, the font is so small because of what we do, not because of its impact on our community. And so under the umbrella of DIME, we do community engagement. We do PROUD, which stands for pediatricians reading out loud about diversity. And those are recorded storybooks that are going to be recorded from residents and are currently recorded by faculty that are ran in the children's hospital and also in the clinic to promote literacy and also ableism, disableism, what its different families look like. And we really want to promote that healthy perspective of the world. We also do HER rounds, so health equity rounds, which is a med ed portal, verified collaborative that we've been utilizing at our institution in grand rounds. And now we have 5 to 7 grand round lectures dedicated just for DIME, diversity and equity that we will be opening up campus wide, not just for pediatrics. We've also partnered with a lot of cross campus initiatives so that an academic institution as big as ours can feel very siloed, and we're trying to make connections so it feels very much like home. And I think we're doing a pretty good job of it. Just saying. Let me just hug myself right now. We also have an elective rotation for underrepresented medicine for 4th year sub-Is, and would love to see you guys here. I promise we are just as cool in person as we are on Zoom. I think a little bit better, actually.
Jokes included.
Yeah, I've got so many like corny jokes. You guys will be laughing for ages. And what's cool about our location is we are, the Children's Hospital is in Loma Linda, which is one of the blue zones, if you know what that is. If you don't, I didn't know about it until I got here, so it's okay. And then Riverside University Health System, which spans 2 counties, which means we cover a quarter of the state of California for care. And so I think that's pretty awesome. So we chose to stay here and work because we love it and we love residents, and we love the opportunity to grow and develop, and always open for feedback and change. So please follow us on Instagram, because I think we're also pretty cool on Instagram, but we'll also take that feedback but not in the comments. Don't comment me. Don't comment me, okay? All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love that energy, that vibe. All righty. So we are gonna now go with UCLA.
Hi guys, I'm Alan Chin. I'm the program director here at UCLA. I apologize. I don't have that much energy as our Loma Linda colleagues have. I'm gonna say that right out loud. But that being said, I think one of the benefits is being able to hear from different programs and different people. And so I'll just run through the highlights here that I think about UCLA. We work with a diverse patient population. You've heard from a lot of standalone children's hospitals. We're actually the exact opposite of that. We are a multi-site training program. And what I mean here is that we actually have a multitude of different hospital sites that you go to, specifically designed each one to be a particular strength that it brings to our program. You know, our primary training site here at the UCLA Untitled Children's Hospital, it is a tertiary quaternary care center. It's in fact one of the places that has the highest acuity in the nation when you look at all children's hospitals across the country. And that's what we care for in that hospital. And so really looking for applicants who really want to work in that system, see maybe some zebras here or there. But we recognize that that can't be the only training experience that you have in residency. And so we've made partnerships with other hospitals. So like in the Mills Children's Hospital, this is a large freestanding children's hospital in Long Beach. It's actually shared with one of the other Western region programs, UCI, CHOC, also has residents there. And this is an opportunity to work with the urban underserved patient population in Long Beach. We also work at the All of You Medical Center in Sylmar. This is a urban underserved, a rural underserved patient population, primarily Spanish speaking population with limited access to care. It's a LA County safety net hospital that you'll get to work in here. Lastly, Santa Monica UCLA, this is a hospital, community hospital owned by UCLA to get a little bit more of that bread and butter general pediatrics feel. Each one of these brings something different to our program that we couldn't get elsewhere. And that's what we find is so powerful. We complement this with multiple outpatient training locations, including a number of FQHCs or FQHC lookalikes, including our own outpatient general pediatrics clinic. The Children's Health Center here at UCLA is the FQHC lookalike. We work in 2 free clinic systems in the Bettis Family Clinics, the Simsmans Health Center and the Colon Children's Health Center, providing care to the underserved communities around us. Our curriculum is designed to have both daily clinical didactics at all of our training sites, because we know I want you to learn about the patients that you're caring for at that site. So I want you to learn about those cases, about those people. So we designed daily didactics, noon conferences, maybe morning reports around that concept. While at the same time, we're a 4+1. So you've heard a little bit about the X plus Y schedules. So we have the 4 weeks of core rotations plus 1 week. You actually have your continuity clinics. We also have subspecialty clinics in that time frame. The weekend is entirely off. There's no other coverage that weekend. And then we have a half-day didactic built into that. And during that time, we do the Yale outpatient curriculum. So things that we think overarchingly important for general pediatrics as a whole. And then we also do our advocacy curriculum longitudinally here. So there's a lot of opportunities. We do a lot of asset mapping for the LAUSD school districts around us, around our own continuity clinic sites, for example. We also do our quality improvement patient safety curriculum in that half-day didactic. So an opportunity to really follow your QI project over time, participate in a root cause analysis on patient cases that you participate in, an opportunity to kind of really do those things. All that while being in Los Angeles, which, you know, this is a place that I came to for residency. I grew up in, I love it. And so it's a fantastic place to be. I really appreciate it. Our program is moderately large. We have 27 categorical interns per year, 2 child neurology and 4 med peds. Actually, I just got word from our med peds program director. They'll be applying to expand that to 6 positions in med peds this coming year. We have 4 tracks. We have a physician scientist program, one designed for those that, that classic 80, 20, 80% research, 20% clinical at the end of their career, and that's really supporting research time for them. We have a primary care and public health track. This is actually one of our largest tracks. Over a third, almost half of our residents choose to be in this track, but it's an opportunity to work in service-based learning environments. We work with a number of community organizations, including the Heart of Los Angeles, which is a local Latinx community organization. We do parenting classes. We talk about transition to young adulthood. We talk about other things that are really important for the community leaders, organizers in that organization. We also work with local LAUSD underserved schools. We've actually had a decades-long partnership with the Mark Twain Middle School doing nutrition education, and actually our residents take a picture every year of actually eating the school lunches there and trying to do an analysis of kind of what that's like and the asset mapping around that school, for example. We have a fellowship and hospital-based career track. This is actually our second largest track, opportunity for you to learn about fellowships and the nitty gritty that you need to kind of apply to fellowships, but also be successful in those careers, including things about introduction to research, statistical analysis, CVs, all those skills that you need to be successful in an academic career. We also have a global health and underserved populations track. This is really designed for those that really want to do global health as part of their final careers. So C, global health, MSF even, we've had graduates go into all these programs. It partners with all of our residents who have an opportunity to travel to one of our 6 global health partnership sites. In our third year, you have a 4-week Big E, which is a call-free, clinic-free, backup-free elective, and about 70% of our residents pre-COVID had selected that time frame to go on a global health experience at one of our 6 partnership sites. So not only is there a track for those that are interested in this their final career, but this is an opportunity to participate in global health in a bigger picture sense in your residency here with us. We have 13 different fellowship programs here. So if there's a subspecialty that you're interested in pursuing, then you'll have the opportunity to learn from those fellows, learn from division members who have a fellowship there, discover what you want to do. And at the end of the day, that translates to what our residents do. Our graduates end up 40% Gen Peds, 45% fellowship, and then 15% general hospitalists. Some even do just primary research careers. So a lot of different opportunities here. Diversity initiatives, we do holistic review for all of our applicants. Our pediatric residency diversity committee is actually a grassroots program that actually started with our residents, actually back when I was an intern, started in 2008. And so this has been a grassroots run by our residents every year, really looking at initiatives that they want to do. They do quarterly didactics in our noon conferences. They've organized book clubs, movie nights, things to really kind of engage with not only our own residents, but also medical students, fellows who identified underrepresented in medicine. We also partner with our faculty JEDI committee, which is the Justice, Equity, Diversity, Inclusion, who built a roadmap for what we want to do in the Department of Pediatrics. And then that answers to a larger UCLA Medical School Dean's Office of JEDI, who are looking at kind of our anti-racism roadmap here. And so a really fantastic opportunity to work in kind of a larger institutional goal around diversity initiatives. And lastly, I'll just mention that we have a number of primary care training grants to support training of general pediatricians to work in primary underserved communities. About 30% of our residents, so 75% of the residents that go into Gen Peds work in primary underserved areas in California at the time of their graduation. So really want to support that effort as we continue to do that. And that includes things like Song Brown, LA Care, Elevating the Safety Net, Cal MedForce. This has pulled in a number of grant-funded positions to support residency training here at UCLA. So that's our program.
Thank you so much. So much information. Love it. Okay, so next up, we're gonna have UCSD San Diego.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and congratulations to all of the medical students for making a decision to go into pediatrics. We're all excited about that, and congrats on being a 4th year. So many of the things in our program you've heard a little bit about before. I think Dr. Larrabee highlighted one of the things that we're really excited about, which is that we sit on the international border right at the southwest corner of the United States. That means we also have a very large catchment area and access to unique populations. So we serve not only the population within San Diego County, which is immense, being the largest freestanding children's hospital in California, but we also serve the population in the Pacific Rim and a very large refugee population. So that gives our residents some really unique opportunities, meaning that they take care of all of the bread and butter that happens within San Diego, but also many of the zebras within San Diego and that come from other places. Wellness is very important to us. And I think one of the things that I am always excited to see is that our residents are so close to one another. They are very tight knit and supportive to one another. So we want to support them, but I think that is unique and that really serves for a great foundation to wellness, including the other things that we do. UCSD is very well known for its research opportunities. So our residents have access to all sorts of mentors, whether that's QI or working in diverse populations or within global health research. And we have an active resident union as well. We do have a modified X+Y, meaning that there are multiple rotations where you don't do your clinic, again, in terms of balancing things well over the course of time. And there are continuity clinics all throughout our community so that you can choose the type of population and setting that you want to work in. We have diverse inpatient and outpatient experiences, and we have almost all of the fellowship opportunities that you would be looking for. And so you have access to tertiary care in those settings as well. We have both a physician scientist track where you can do an accelerated or regular program and a primary care track that started a few years ago. And we also have specific time for a resident academic project. So all of the residents can choose a project that can be anything from a QI project to a basic science project to a advocacy initiative. So protected time where they actually have rotations and can dig deeper into something that is of their interest that happens over the course of their second and third year. We have an active global health program sending residents all around the globe, including places like Malawi, Guadalajara, and other representation. Do we have one more slide, I think? There we go. Thank you so much. We are a medium-sized program, so 17 categorical, 4 med peds, and 2 beads neuro each year. We are excited about our wellness programs, including mentorship, a big SIB program, and things inside of the hospital and outside of the hospital. We have an associate program director whose focus is the diversity initiatives. There is a strong presence of a resident and faculty-led diversity collaborative that the residents themselves started a few years ago. We have a family mentoring program. So that family runs all the way from medical students to residents, fellows, and then faculty. So they have a family over the course of time that you can continue to be part of as you grow throughout UCSD, as well as embedded DEI curriculum and community pediatrics rotations. A lot of the residents are excited to do global health that happens elsewhere, but given we're such a diverse population here in San Diego, we also have a rotation called Think Globally, Act Locally. So you get to experience some of the assets of a global health program, but you get to sleep in your own bed. And of course, we are in San Diego. I think that's one of the biggest highlights that we have. We try to balance what our residents are doing so that they have plenty of time outside of the walls of the hospital and access to arguably one of the best cities in America. Thanks.
Thank you so much. All righty, we'll go ahead and have University of Utah next.
Anyone from Utah there?
Uh-oh. Hold on. We'll start with University of New Mexico in case we're still waiting for Utah. So sorry, I think there was trying to figure this out. Sorry, guys. So I'll just go over the slides. University of New Mexico, their highlights are they work in Children's Hospital. Is the only children's hospital in the state of New Mexico. They're a level 1 trauma center, level 4. And they have research also. They have 13 blocks per year, inpatient months, and are on night float system. They have continuity clinic and weekly half days, resident school, for resident school, and rotation specific didactics. They have exposure during PQ as an intern. Okay, and diversity for them, PARS rotations, and they have with the holistic review of all resident applications, implicit bias training for residents and faculty involved in resident recruitment. There's mid-size, 21 categorical peds, 1 to 2 child neuro per year, fellowships in NICU and PEM, track curricula, 2nd and 3rd years. They have global, rural, health, ambulatory, hospitalists, and fellowships. They medically serve the underserved minority populations. Post-residency careers, they have about 50-50. General peds and 50%, 20% hospitalists, and 30% going on to fellowship. They're located in Albuquerque, largest metropolitan area. They sit on elevation of 5,300 feet, year-round access to winter and summer outdoor sports. Okay, and then we'll go back to Utah. Utah have X and Y schedules. They have 29 East Coast, 21 Central, and 37 West Coast. Not sure what that means. I'm so sorry. Their schedules are the X and Y. If you don't know, that means that they have the 3 weeks per rotation, followed by 1 week of clinic and curriculum activities. 40% private practice, 31% fellowships, and 30% academics. They have 5 national parks. Cool. 14 ski resorts, 14 museums. Okay, so we have run out of time. We're going to go back into the main room. So we'll see you guys all there. Thank you.